So we say kol hakavod to all of our Torah readers, our Haftarah, especially to our Shamash, to Larry, to our Gabaim. It's confusing morning. I think I made it more confusing with some of my instructions. So we say kol hakavod to all of you. And a special Baruch Haba, special welcome back to Cantor Tisser, to Ari. Wonderful to have you here. I invite you to open up your Sidurim to page 308, page 308. Yanai nai 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 nai. Yanai nai 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 nai. Yanai nai yanai nai nai nai. Yanai nai 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 nai. Yanai nai yanai nai nai nai. Yanai nai 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 nai. Yanai nai yanai nai nai nai. Nine, 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 nine. 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 Nine, 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 nine. 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 Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. 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 Nine, 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 nine. Ane rotalalu, anu madlikim. Ane rotalalu, anu madlikim. Al hanisim, ve'al haniflaot. Al ha-tishuot, ve'al ha-milchamot, al ha-nisim, ve'al ha-niflaot, al ha-tshuot, ve'al ha-milchamot, anerot alalu, anu madlikim, anerot alalu, Anu madlikim, al hanisim, ve'al haniflaot, al ha-tishuot, ve'al ha-milchamot. Last Sunday night, Sarah Vanunu gathered with her family and friends to celebrate the bar mitzvah of her second son. They were in an event hall. There was music and a hora and food and an Israeli flag. And there was one more thing at this bar mitzvah. Gunshots, 50 meters away. You see, the event hall was located on Bondi Beach. At first, people thought that it was just fireworks. But very quickly, they saw terrified people running and screaming. Their faces said it all. Some of the children at the party fled with the crowd. Others stayed inside following instructions. They locked themselves in the hall for nearly 2.5 hours. Crying children, panicked parents, and absolute chaos converged in a room full of 12-year-olds experiencing real existential fear, probably for the first time in their lives. What can we even say? Welcome to Jewish adulthood. Yanai nai, yanai nai nai nai, yanai yanai nai nai nai, yanai nai, yanai nai nai nai. Yanai, yanai, nai, nai, nai. Yanai, nai, nai, nai. Yanai, nai, nai, nai. Yanai, nai, These are some of the victims of Sunday's terror attack. Edith Brutman was the vice president of an anti-prejudice, anti-discrimination committee at B'nai B'rith in New South Wales. Alex Kleitman, an 87-year-old Ukrainian Holocaust survivor, was celebrating Hanukkah at Bondi Beach with his wife Larissa, of 57 years, also a survivor. He was killed while shielding Larissa from bullets using his body. Marika Pagani, 82, was a grandmother and a longtime member of the Harbor View Bridge Club. In 2019, she was honored with the Jewish Communal Mensch Award for delivering more than 12,000 kosher Meals on Wheels for over 20 years. Matilda Britvan, 10 years old, was the youngest victim of the attack. She was a student at the Harmony Russian School in Sydney and had been attending the Hanukkah by the Beach event for many years. Rabbi Eli Schlanger was the assistant rabbi at Chabad of Bondi. The 41-year-old rabbi was born in London. He studied at yeshiva in France. He was the kind of person who would give you the shirt off his back. And Schlanger was outspoken in the face of rising anti-Semitism in Australia. In a recent interview, he encouraged Jews to stand proudly in the face of hatred, saying, "Be more Jewish, act more Jewish, appear more Jewish." Schlanger is survived by his wife and 5 children, the youngest of whom, a boy, was born just 2 months ago. Aneirot halalu anu madlikin, Aneirot halalu anu madlikin, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hatishuot ve'al hamilchamot. Yanai nai yananai nai yanai yananai nai yanai nai yananai nai yanai yananai nai yanai nai nai yanai nai 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 yanai nai nai yanai nai nai. There is so much darkness. Here we are, another Jewish holiday, another time of rejoicing that will forever be associated with sorrow. But if we look hard enough, we can find some rays of light. We find it in the full-throttled denunciation by the Grand Mufti of Australia condemning the attack, quote, in the strongest and most unequivocal terms. And of course, in the heroism of Ahmed al-Ahmed, who took the gun from one of the terrorists. We find it even in that bar mitzvah dance hall. The bar mitzvah mom explained, amid all of this, there was one image I will never forget. The people who fled the beach included Muslim men and women wearing hijabs. They came into our bar mitzvah hall seeking shelter from the horrors outside. Some of them didn't know what a bar mitzvah was, but they did recognize the falafel and hummus we had at the venue, so we invited them to sit and eat with us. For a brief moment, humanity prevailed over everything else. Al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hatishuot ve'al hamilchamot. We find light in the flowers that we received from the Advent Lutheran Church. They're now down by the welcome desk. And from an email I received this week from a man named Jeff I've never met. Good morning, Rabbi. My name is Jeff. I'm a 54-year-old man who was raised and confirmed into the Lutheran Church. I'm writing this email to let you know how sorry I am for the attacks on your religion. It pains my heart, and I just want you to know that I have been praying that this terrorism on your faith stops. I remember walking home from elementary school, and it was me, Lutheran, David, Jewish, and John, Jehovah's Witness, and all we cared about was whether we had time to play before or after one of us went to religious school. We didn't care about what religion each was, we were just friends. I wish the world could go back to a time like that, but I know we can't. I want you and your congregation to know that at least one person who is not Jewish cares about you. Thank you for taking the time to read my rambling email, and I hope you and your temple have a happy and joyous Hanukkah. Al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hatishuot ve'al hamilchamot. We can find a sliver of that light when we look up into the heavens tonight and see the beginning of a new moon. We can also find it sometimes in the most unexpected places, like when we look down into the earth and find a spark of light long buried. For centuries after the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in 70 CE and then razed Jerusalem in 135, Jews were banned from visiting Jerusalem. And yet, archaeologists just a couple of weeks ago, digging around the Temple Mount in what the area called Robinson's Arch, they found a cast lead round pendant, which they believe was an amulet. Now that alone is significant because no such lead artifacts have ever been found there. More striking, though, the pendant is decorated with a 7-branched menorah on both sides. And it dates to approximately 1,300 years ago, exactly to the time when it was forbidden for Jews to be in Jerusalem. So, did the wearer tuck in their necklace and hide their Jewish identity, visiting in secret to some risk? Or did they have it untucked and walked unabashedly around Jerusalem as a proud Jew? Or maybe the decree wasn't enforced. We don't know. But someone wore this pendant in defiance of a decree to visit the city that originally housed that original menorah, the city that has represented the beating heart of our Jewish people for millennia. Clearly, the light burned within the wearer. Anerot halalu anu madlikim, Anerot halalu anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hatishuot ve'al hamilchamot. We find light in the hundreds of people who gathered the day after the attack in Bondi Beach, including the grandson of one of our members, Barb and Larry Parks. We find it in those who braved sub-zero temperatures here at Bethel to light our Chanukiah and to dance Am Yisrael Chai outside. Perhaps most remarkably, we find light in one of the darkest places on earth, in the tunnels of Gaza, where recently released video footage shows 6 Israeli hostages lighting Hanukkah candles on a Chanukiah made of paper cups, which was all they had. Of all the things, they celebrated Hanukkah. Doing so, they showed their captors and all of us how to respond. We are Jews, and this is just what we do. We add light to darkness. Seeing these young, vibrant, and luminous Jews keeping alive our over 2,000-year-old tradition, when in the bowels of hell on earth, you cannot feel but something, wrote Rachel Goldberg Poland, the mother of Hirsch, who's seen in the video. She continued, "In these dark times, it is a flicker of light. The flame is whispering something. If you are quiet and you lean forward, you will hear it. Did you grasp it? The beautiful 6 did. It is hope. Hope! It's not a suggestion or advice, it is a command. Hanukkah teaches," she concludes, it teaches us there is light, even in the darkest of times and the most upside down of places. The camera sweeps by Hirsch and he says, "Wishing you a Hanukkah of peace. From hell, without a hand, he wished us peace. Anerot halalu anu madlikim, Anerot halalu anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hateshuot ve'al hamilchamot. 2,500 years ago, the prophet Zechariah lived. He lived during a period of Jewish history that was at once precarious and promising. It was promising because Jews exiled to Babylonia had been permitted to return back to their homeland, to Israel. It was precarious because that homeland had yet fully been rebuilt and it remained under foreign domination. As a result, the people of Judea lived in profound insecurity, beset by uncertainty and doubt. One day, as we read in this morning's Haftarah, God showed Zechariah a vision of a golden menorah. After the vision, the angel awakened the prophet and spoke to him, saying, "What do you see?" And Zechariah answered, "I see a menorah all full of gold with a bowl above it." And then I asked the angel, "What do these things mean?" Now, wait a minute. The prophet of all people doesn't know the meaning of a menorah? The angel is flabbergasted and says, "Do you not know the meaning of these things?" And Zechariah said, "No, my Lord." How are we to understand Zechariah's inability to grasp the meaning of this vision, which clearly is a vision of light that symbolizes blessing and final redemption? The 20th century Rav Yosef Soloveitchik explains that Zechariah's confusion stemmed from the precarious circumstance in which he lived. Redemption was at his doorstep, yet he was unable to perceive it amidst the turmoil. It stood before his eyes, but he could not see it. I hardly need to draw out the analogy. It can be hard to see the light, to find hope, let alone to see a hint of redemption at a time such as this of utter darkness. But each of us can not only be the light, we can be an angel who shows others the light in our midst. We do so when we reaffirm our shared humanity, when we embrace life inspired by cherished memories of those who have passed, when we shine a light and when we show others a light, when we reach out to those who are suffering with words of encouragement and comfort, when we discover the strength and resilience we didn't even know that we had, and when we lift our spirit with commitment to Jewish living with pride and joy. And with that light shining brightly, we are moved to sing. Anerot halalu anu madlikim, Anerot halalu anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hateshuot ve'al hanechamot, Anerot halalu anu madlikim, Anerot halalu anu madlikim, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hateshuot ve'al hanechamot, al hanisim ve'al haniflaot, al hateshuot ve'al hamilchamot. Shabbat shalom. Same to you. Turn back in our Sidurim. Musaf will be introduced with Chetzi Kaddish on 155, but we'll daven the special Musaf for Rosh Chodesh and for Hanukkah, so just follow the instructions in your Sidur for what pages to turn to on 166b.